Hey guys, waiting on viewers. Picking an oil to sniff out for my mood. Today has been draining the hell out of me. Can you tell? I look exhausted. This is Amber from Sunzai. I love Sunzai Company. They're amazing. It's very autumn, fresh, out the shower, powdery smell. Love it. Yeah, but today is beating my ass. Like, no offense. Like, I'm a freaking slave or a maid who's abused by her owner or something, you know? That's how I feel to energy right now. I'm trying really hard to vibrate higher. I'm trying to wake up. I got this big ass owl cup of like coffee and milk with creamer. And yeah, I'm just trying to wake up because these vibes right now are really, really low. I still gotta clean my house. I just want to go to sleep, bro. Sleep right now is my bestie. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. It's really weird, too, because I got pretty decent sleep last night, so I don't understand why I'm so blah. I think somebody's working some kind of energy on me today. I feel it. I feel it hardcore. But I put on my citrine that a sister made me. I don't know if she's watching. She made me this. It's a citrine. And I'm wearing my clear quartz. So I feel pretty cool. I'm drained, but I still feel fabulous. And then I got my amethyst on my head. So try me, energy. Try me. You know what I mean? I'm up for it. Let's go. Because seriously, this is, and I know probably Crystal's feeling it too. I don't know if it's Georgia or what, but it feels heavy. Like you just, you know when you feel somebody hovering over you and it's like barely breathe because you feel like somebody else is breathing that oxygen in your bubble? That's what I feel like right now. Okay? And I wanted to kind of talk on this topic because I feel like we all are either in relationships or were in relationships that like we thought were a total waste of time, but in all reality, they're not. Okay? They're not. Not even relationships in general, just dating or your one night stand, or this could be to your side chick, whatever floats your boat in your lifestyle. But I'm talking on this topic because like I'm kind of going through it myself in a way. But this ain't about me. This is a general topic. You know, not every topic I talk about is what I'm going through. Sometimes it just comes up in my mind and, you know, guides and source tell me to talk about it, on my opinion on it, so I do. And, you know, some of y'all agree, some of y'all don't. That's what's up. That's all. So this is basically what this is. I'm going to take this off now because I think I have enough protection with my clear quartz. I wear it all the damn time. But anyways, with relationships, I feel like every relationship is a lesson. Like, I know we go through our 3 phases of, like, the lesson relationship, the soulmate, and then the twin flame. But even your soulmate relationships and your twin flame relationships can also be lessons. Like, you can't expect all of a sudden your twin flame to be perfect, okay? Sometimes they'll teach you shit. They'll teach you maybe patience. Maybe you don't have patience. And maybe they are, I don't know, slow at getting it. Or slow at getting you. Or something like that where you're becoming impatient. Things like that. Sometimes the universe puts people in our life so we can learn to change those flaws that we have so we can continue to better ourselves every year. And with relationships, they all evolve you. Like, you're not the same person you were with your first girlfriend or your first boyfriend. You're a totally different person now. And that's because with every relationship, you learn what you want to deal with and you learn what you don't want to deal with. And that's just how it is. You know, maybe one girlfriend was bonkers and crazy and, I don't know, tried chasing you with a knife or something. But the other girlfriend you had was a sweetheart and, like, naive and, you know, things like that. People are all different. We're all unique. So you don't even know, like, the person you're dating, what they're going to be like after you marry, after you live together. Things like that. Everything is, like, a risk in taking the leap, not knowing where you're going to actually land, but just doing it. And when I say we can learn from twin flames, I mean like we learn a lot from them. Like we learn patience, we learn unconditional love, we learn how to embrace ourselves because they embrace us. We learn how to help them grow in any aspect in life, whatever they're struggling in, we're becoming their strength for it, and vice versa. We're learning to trust. Because if you are madly in love and you found your twin flame and you don't trust them, how's that going to work? It doesn't matter if they're your twin flame or not. You're always going to have some kind of negative vibration going in between your relationship. Also with communication. You know how hard it is for people to communicate with their spouse? You know how hard it is for people to say they fucked up because they're afraid their spouse is going to go buck wild on them? A lot. But they don't realize in the bigger picture that damages the whole relationship. If you can't talk up to your spouse about how you're feeling or what you're doing or what, you're going through or whatever, how do you expect to even be in a happy place if you can't be yourself or be open? Like, we also learn a lot about ourselves during relationships. We really do. Okay? We learn when we're being too quiet in a relationship. We learn when we're changing and we're not ourselves anymore. We learn when we're not happy, when we used to be happy, what changed, what was the trigger, things like that. So we're always learning. It's not only in relationships. You learn from strangers, you learn from friends, you learn from family, you learn from bosses, you learn from people you don't want to become. Even the negative you can learn from. Okay, I don't want to be like that. Or, avoid being like that. Or, things like that. Because I'm going to be honest, like, a lot of times when we're going through bad shit, challenges, bullshit, drama, whatever, a lot of times it's hard to be grateful for it because we're caught in the moment with emotion. Like, we're not thinking logically. We're not thinking, like, bigger picture shit. If we thought about the bigger picture for a lot of shit, a lot of things could have been solved hundreds of years ago with our society and species and all of this shit, okay? But apparently that's just not the way it is. Some people just don't want to better themselves. Some people are comfortable in their misery or their failures or, being conniving or whatever it is. But people that are vibrating on a certain level and are awake and have gifts or talk to source or whatever it is, we are always determined to be better. We never like the feeling of low vibes. We never like the feeling of midlife crisis and breakdowns and meltdowns and tantrums and, we don't like that stuff. So we try our best to avoid it. But that doesn't mean that when we get thrown in the mix, don't think we won't get our hands dirty. Okay? That's what we also learn in these relationships. Some relationships gotten the worst out of you. You unleashed your demon on certain of your exes, or you wanted to. And some exes got the blessing of you. So, in all reality, yeah, it is how we react to certain people and things like that, even the ones we're dating. But I feel like when we come out of our character or we come out of that place of love, because it does happen where we go into arguments and we say shit we don't mean or things like that, it's stepping out of that love that you're supposed to have. Like, you're not even in this space of vibration no more because now you're insulting them. You're swearing at them. You're saying really, really harsh things to them. But I feel like when you're on a vibration or on a certain path that is bettering you, when you do things like that, you recognize it right away. And you man up or woman up and apologize and be like, I'm sorry. Like, I was just caught in an emotion. I wasn't thinking. I didn't mean what I said. And you actually make up for it. Not just say sorry, move on, and then the next argument you're doing it again. Okay, you have to make up for that. Or at least try to. But there's no such thing as not fucking up. It don't matter if it's your twin flame. They fuck up too. They make mistakes. They have habits, bad flaws, all of that shit too. Okay, so we gotta remember that. There is no perfect. So with that, being said and all of this stuff, we gotta remember that we're trying to mesh our life and how we feel and our belief systems and the way we live with another person who lives totally different. And you have to compromise and meet halfway to make it work. You know what I mean? You might like vintage. They might like modern. Y'all gotta make that shit work. You know what I mean? Have a Jetsons medieval style or something. That's like what I mean with relationships. You have to learn. You learn certain traits and behaviors when you're in a real relationship. And when I say real, I mean like we go in a lot of relationships that just don't work. And they don't mesh. But we still learn. And that's my whole point about like this video is even if you're going through a bad relationship, you're still learning about yourself, what you want to deal with, what you don't, what you want in the next relationship when you plan to leave this relationship, you know, things like that. So you're learning more about yourself as you're criticizing or seeing their flaws that they're not seeing as flaws. And when someone doesn't see it as a flaw, you can't expect them to change it because they don't think there's nothing wrong with it. So the only thing you can do is make the decision that helps you. At the end of it all, it's what you want. What are you craving in your relationship, in your life? Are you happy? Are you not happy? Like, it's at the end of it all, it's all about you and what you're feeling in this lifetime because you're creating your life. You know, for those that do believe in reincarnation, yes, we do repeat lessons we haven't learned in certain lifetimes. And we get karmic debts and all of this. But I feel like if you are recognizing something and you're actually trying or attempting to change it, the universe recognizes that shit, okay? Your cosmos, your God, your divine, they recognize that stuff. And those good karma debts can come at the same time and rhythm, just like the bad. Like, in relationships, many of us have experienced abuse, either mental, verbal, emotional, spiritual, whatever. Some of us have experienced narcissists. Some of us have experienced cheaters. Some of us have experienced ones that suck you dry of like all your money and all this bullshit. We've all experienced it. But don't tell me that you didn't learn your lesson and now with the next one you're more aware to find those same patterns or things like that. You are. So you are learning your lesson. It's like a baby. Like if a baby touches a hot, I don't know, stove or coffee pot, they're not going to touch it again once they get burned. Now they're more aware. That's hot. That can hurt me. And they won't do it again. It's the same with relationships. If you notice that every person you're dating is repeating the same pattern, that's not their fault. That's your fault because you keep finding people that are repeating that pattern. You're not going after people that are the opposite of that pattern. Okay? Maybe if someone is, I don't know, showing a mentality like they aren't faithful or things like that, or you always feel like you're the second choice. Why date a guy that is a fuckboy? You're still always going to be a second choice. And even if you're the first choice and you don't do something that they don't like or whatever, you get bumped to second choice and there's a other main chick. So why continue to go after the same pattern that hurts you? Every relationship is a lesson. So if one was an asshole and didn't know how to keep it in his pants because he was a pretty boy or whatever the case is, why go after another pretty boy that you know is also promiscuous, doesn't like commitment, or is afraid of commitment? All you're doing is setting yourself up for your own traps. It's like setting bear traps in the woods and you keep stepping on your own traps. It doesn't make sense. Every relationship is a lesson so that when you go on to the next relationship, you don't repeat those mistakes. It's not to continue your mistakes just with a new person. And a lot of people have that issue. They move on to a new relationship with their old habits or their old flaws or their old issues. And they don't realize that that person can be the one to make them happy, but they destroy it because they continue to keep living the same way. keep living with the same habits, keep living with the same thought process, the same traumas. They don't want to let it go. So they're actually starting to change you, and they're starting to drain you because you're actually trying to be optimistic for them, but they don't want to be optimistic themselves. So they let their mind or their thoughts or their traumas or their sadness consume the relationship. And then it becomes toxic and unhealthy. And then you're repeating this whole new pattern of doing it again. It's going to be a routine. If they don't see the flaws, and not really the flaws, but the things they do that are passing your boundary or your line, and they continue to repeat passing that line, when are you going to show yourself enough respect to tell them that's it? I'm done. I deserve better. Because if you don't, and you continue to stay with it, they're not going to see it as a problem because you're not seeing it as a problem because you continue to stay and deal with it. So you're teaching them, oh, it doesn't bother me. I'm still here. Go ahead. Continue doing what you're doing to me. And then all you're really doing is destructing yourself. Because you're not making these decisions for you. You're thinking about everybody else and how they're going to feel about it. And you're forgetting how you feel about it. There's a lot of people that stay in these relationships that they're miserable in because they're afraid to either start all over again, or they're afraid family's going to be like, oh, here's a new guy. You know, like, we're always caring about other people's opinion about our relationship. And it doesn't make any sense because you're the one sleeping with this person. You're the one dealing with this person 24/7. You're the one living with them. You're the one that has to be their crutch. You're the one that has to pick them up when they're down. You're the one that has to deal with the bullshit and the drama that comes with them, because we all have some kind of drama or shit attached with us. Either family, past traumas that are coming back, whatever it is, we all have it. So if they can't learn to grow from their shit or their drama or whatever it is, they're going to drag you with them. Okay? Misery does love company, and that goes much deeper than people can even, like, comprehend. Really, it is. Misery does love company. And that it can also be in relationships. People can be so miserable with themselves that they want somebody who does feel good about themselves to feel the same way so they can be miserable together. And to me, that's like cancer. You're giving yourself cancer and letting it spread until you die. Why are you going to do that? Why are you going to give your life to someone to always wake up not looking forward to waking up because you got to wake up and deal with them? In relationships, it takes two people to decide to be together and be happy, not one. So what if they don't want you to leave? So what if they're the ones that, you know, are, I don't know, supporting the family and stuff? There's ways that you can work your way into not having to depend on them and cutting those ties, because a lot of people use money and power and control as a way to intimidate another person to not move forward and be happy. They don't want you happy. They want you to be with them. And a lot of times it's a selfish move. Okay? A lot of people don't observe their relationship or how shit is supposed to go down, what a healthy relationship is. You're not supposed to try and destroy each other. Like, that don't make sense. You guys trust each other enough to plug into each other intimately, but then you're going to go and try and destroy each other? Do you know when you argue and you try to destroy someone that you supposedly love and you become petty, you're hurting them. And then y'all make up. And then y'all have sex. And then that hurt that they're feeling that you caused is going right back to you. There goes your karma. Then your chaos is beginning. People don't think about that. They don't. Because they're always, like I said, they're not being logical thinkers. They're being emotional thinkers. And then they do shit. And then later on, wonder why the person is the way they are. Because you black out. You don't think about your shit. You don't step out of yourself to see the situation a different way, by a different angle. You don't think of the bigger picture of things. And, you know, stuff like that. And a lot of times that does taint the relationship. Why do you think there is a honeymoon phase? Why do you think the first 6 months are usually the perfect part of the relationship where you're impressing each other? Because in 6 months, you're not attached. You can easily walk away and not feel nothing. That's why it's the impressive stage. They don't want you going nowhere because they know you can just go, bye, and not feel nothing. After 6 months, emotions start to come in. You start to really enjoy each other. You start to crave each other. Like all of this stuff. And it's an impressive stage. Like I said, after 6 months, when you are official, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is, then they start to get comfortable. And when they get comfortable, you start to see what they really are like. And a lot of times that makes people nervous. Like, damn, now I got to deal with this lazy person or this slob or whatever the case is. Is this what my life is going to be like? People show you that stuff before you do commitments like marriage or kids or things like that. But we always ignore it. And that's when the relationship years from now becomes a lesson. Regardless if a relationship is a lesson, a lot of times you can't make that lesson a soulmate or make the soulmate a twin flame. I'm not saying it's not possible, but it's like fucking mission almost impossible. It's hard work. It's transforming with each other, being open with each other, constantly growing with each other, and understanding the whole balance of life and how it's supposed to work with each other. Trust me, with lessons and soulmates, that doesn't happen a lot. You wind up getting hurt, always trying to be the perfect relationship. A lot of spiritualists and cosmic people and cosmic souls believe in fairy tale love. We see it there's only a few people in the world that are lucky to have it. But we do see it. And that does give us faith and hope that we're going to be in that state of mind. You know what I mean? Where you're both optimistic and you're both, no matter what the challenge is, you know you're a team and you got it together and you can handle it. That type of mind state is rare, but it exists. And a lot of times when us cosmic souls and spiritualists get hurt by our lessons and our soulmates, we slowly lose faith in that. Not realizing that us losing faith in it is still continuing to manifest the hurt and the pain that we're already dealing with. So yeah, it's like I said, it's not easy. It's not easy that when you get hurt, all of a sudden to think optimistic and be like, well, the next one will be better. And things like that. Because you're hurting at that moment. That's when emotion can destroy everything. Emotion can destroy your manifesting. And manifesting's all day, every day. So it does get hard. It does get hard to try to mix the ingredients together without them separating or overboiling or whatever the case. But that's what life is. Life is a lesson, and so is your love life. Your love life. I see a meme that is so true. If you line up your exes, you see your mental disorder. You really do. Some of them are similar. Sometimes you're repeating the same mistake a couple of times. Going after the same type of person. Or, things like that. It's time to change that. Stop going after what your type is and go after the opposite of your type. A lot of times it does work. You'll find someone that makes you balanced. Someone that makes you feel undefeatable. Someone that makes you always optimistic and feel good, even when you're going through a hard time. That's very hard to find. We go through bullshit to try to find that. Okay? So yes, you learn from everyone, including the exes that have hurt you the most. It's true. I don't hate nobody I've dated. I don't hate anybody I've dated. I've gotten over whatever they've done. You have to. You have to take control back. You can't be angry and bitter at people for the past, because they're growing just like you are. They were reckless. You were reckless at one point. You get what I'm saying? So, yeah, hurt, heal, and move forward. You're always going to meet somebody else. There's 7 billion of us. There's billion of men out there. Billion of women out there. Someone is most likely going to be almost just like you. Different in little things here and there. But it's like you're dating your mirror. You're dating your twin. Yourself. And sometimes, I'm going to be honest, when you're with the twin flame, and a lot of times they are a mirror image, it's frustrating to date yourself. It can be. It ain't easy. If you're stubborn and your spouse is stubborn, imagine those fights. Or if you're the alpha and they're the alpha and you guys sometimes bump heads to see who's the alpha at that moment. Sometimes dating yourself is not easy. It's not. But that's when those things that we lack that we're supposed to work on, like impatience or a temper or too expressive but not enough empathy with the expressions, things like that, we're supposed to recognize that in the relationship, because most likely they're going to tell you, yo, you're so cold-hearted when you talk and you're angry. And that should be a wake-up call. A lot of times we take it as an insult because we do want to kind of be perfect for our spouse. We want them to see us as perfect. So when they do expose a flaw of ours, it's like, oh my God, now we're questioning like our self-esteem and shit because you want to be perfect for them. You don't want them to be like, sometimes you're lazy, or, sometimes I feel like you just don't do enough in this relationship, or it crushes you regardless because it's the person you're trusting your whole body and soul and mind with, and they're literally criticizing. And sometimes criticism is needed in order to get rid of that shit, the flaws that we have. Because if we don't admit we have flaws and we don't have the balls to change it, we're going to lose them. And then we're going to think, well, damn, I can't be loved. I can't do this. But in all reality, it's your actions or your non-actions that are actually destroying your relationship. It's as easy as making a decision and doing the action behind the decision. That's all it is. It takes you, I say this, when you have to make a decision, take less than 5 seconds to make that decision. Because if you're taking more than 5 seconds, then don't do it. That's all I'm saying. And if you decided before that 5 seconds, go and do the action right after. Trust me. You know how many times we wanted to do things, even in our relationships or a new hobby or something, and we always got scared or we always found an excuse not to do it? Take that 5 seconds. Say, you know what? I'm going to do it. Go do it. Same thing in your relationship. There's something missing? Talk about it. Change it. They have to change it with you. It's a partnership. If they're not willing to change it with you, the relationship's always going to have a strand or a little, I don't know, a little freaking, it's going to be tainted. It's always going to have a problem, or there's always going to be miscommunication, or you're not on the same page, or things like that. And I feel like trust, honesty, and communication, and of course love, but we know that already. But trust, honesty, and communication are the most important things to start a relationship, like a healthy, legit relationship. If you can't talk to your spouse or be yourself or be expressive or tell them that you fucked up, like, I feel like, okay, this is what I mean. I feel like if you cheat and you can't tell your spouse right away, there's a problem in your relationship. That's something you should reevaluate. You should be able to be open completely with your spouse. Your spouse should be your diary. And they should never use what you tell them against you. Because a lot of people do that too. Where you tell them something about your past, and the next thing you know, you get into an argument, and he's over here using your past against you to label you or some shit like that. It happens. It's all about being on the same fucking page. Being on the same team. We all build our team. We all have a team. We all have a circle that we do trust. I have a few friends I trust with my life on here. You know, I have my husband that I'm soon divorcing, but we're best friends. I have my twin flame. I have my kids. That's my entourage. So that's your team. And your team should be well taken care of. Just like they take care of you. If they don't take care of you, that's a problem. Then you got to reevaluate your team and start firing some players and, you know, observing and all of this. But what I'm saying is, your team should always be on check. Like, always check your team. Like, always make sure, you know, that they are who they say they are. That they are honest with you. That they do communicate with you in a mature way. That, you know, you guys can feel each other in a way too. Like, if you're telling them your struggle and they cry with you. Like, to me, those are signs of soul family. Okay? So we're not alone. We have an entourage. And even if they're not in physical plane, they're in the spirit world too. Okay, we got like between 1 to 3 spirit animals. We got ancestors. We got our angelic realm, our guardian angel that's always with us. We got past loved ones that are with us. We got, whatever our bloodline is, we have those ancestors with us. We got a lot of things with us. We're never really alone. We might feel alone physically, but spiritually, we popular as hell. And we got to remember that. And when we remember, like, I feel like if you work on yourself in your mind state and your spirituality and your soul work and all of this, then you can step into a relationship healthy. But I'm going to be honest with you. When you do mature and are becoming a mature adult in a relationship and you are becoming a better person and all of this, sometimes your spouse, don't expect them to be on that level. They need work too. And that's when you have to realize what else you need to work on, like your patience or your anger or the way you communicate with them or things like that. So you're always learning about yourself and you always can work on yourself because there's always a problem with yourself. And you evolve all the time in every relationship. You really do. You grow every time. You grow what you want to deal with and what you don't want to deal with in people, their behavior, their traits, their way of speaking, the way they treat you. You get tired of it and you don't want it no more. And as soon as you see the same pattern of behavior, you all of a sudden need to let it go. In all reality. Because if you hold on to something that is already making you upset and miserable, how do you expect to manifest happiness when you have the one thing that is making you sad or miserable? All I'm trying to say is every relationship, even the worst ones with abuse or whatever, learn to embrace it in a way because it has made you stronger. You're still here and you're still dealing and you know exactly what the hell you want. Okay? And you go for what you want because of those type of relationships. Now you know when you got beat by your ex. Now you know the next guy, he puts his hands on you, you're going to go black out. Or are you going to actually do something to stop it? That's what I'm trying to say. So even the hardest relationships and traumas are a blessing because they have made us the person we are today. And I feel like without them, we would have been a totally different person. We probably would have been just like society or not waking up to this or ignoring our abilities or trying to numb our abilities with drugs or alcohol or whatever. And it happened for a reason. It happened to us for a reason. Our traumas can inspire other people to get over their traumas that could have recently just happened. That's what I'm trying to say. You can always use your mistakes, your growths, your flaws, your anything in your life, you can use it to inspire another person. And you can use it to help teach people how to, if you're into relationships, like relationship counseling or relationship divination or whatever, focus on the married couples, things like that. They always need healing. They always need soul work. Our species is always going to need soul work, so we're never done with this job, okay? And you can teach other people with your struggle how you got through it or how you're coping with it or living with it. So every challenge is a blessing, okay? And you got to remember that, even in relationships. We have to learn our patience. We have to learn communication. We have to learn what we're lacking. And we have to boost it ourselves because, like I always say, we're gods and goddesses. We control ourselves. We realize our potential and how amazing we are. And we choose when we want to illuminate and when we don't. So when you are lacking illumination, illuminate. And if your spouse is lacking it, illuminate them. Or try to find a way to illuminate them. And realize, think before you act. Okay? Think before you act. And speak less and listen more. Because a lot of times, humans speak in subliminal messages. They'll tell you something, but they mean it. They do mean it the same way, but in a more brutal way. Just pay attention, observe, and if you are having issues in your relationship and things like that, do it in a mature way. Make a nice soothing environment. Take them by their hand, sit them on the couch, and talk to them with respect and like you love them, and tell them what's wrong and what you want to do to fix it. Or If you don't want to fix it, why you're leaving, let them understand. You're not going to get across anything with speaking through emotion instead of your logical thinking. Because a lot of times we get caught up. We get caught up, and our emotions a lot of times take us out of character. In this life, we're supposed to learn how to control the mind, the emotion, and the environment energy frequencies around us. That's what we're supposed to do. So use your spirituality, use your growth, use your observations, and listening more, and learning to feel them more, and learning that everything that's happening to you is happening for you, not against you, including love lives and bullshit in love lives. Okay? All I'm saying is, remember, manifesting is all day, every day. Don't forget it. So be careful with what you're thinking. Be careful with what you're feeling. Be careful with what you're projecting out to other people, especially ones that you claim to love. Because, trust me, if you're hurting them, and then making up, and then feeling them, and hugging them, and being intimate with them, you're getting back what you made them feel. So you're already giving yourself your instant karma through your spouse. So communicate more. Be more honest with each other. If your spouse is not getting the message after you consistently keep telling them in your calm tone that this needs to be worked on, or this needs to be worked on, I feel like we're distant, we're this, we're that, and they're not getting it, or they just don't care because they feel like you're not going nowhere, then you need to reevaluate you, unleash your warrior side and your god or goddess side, and realize what you need to do next for your future and for the sake of your happiness. Because you should never sacrifice your happiness for another person's happiness. Okay? I love you guys. I'm going to take my kids to the Y, and I'm going to the gym. And I need food in my system because I'm drained. I love ya. Stay woke, stay awesome, stay vibrating high. Even if the energy is whooping your ass and making it your bitch. And just be awesome, okay? Don't let nobody shit on your rainbow. Not even the ones you love. And remember to always observe your actions. Think before you speak. And it's not what you say, it's how you say things. Okay? One love.